In the previous lesson, we continued to work in Rhino, doing design and architecture, and we define how we can use different tools, and we can use meshes for linear architecture or design. We can also use SUBD for more smooth results, and we're going to use Nurbs, solids, curves, and surfaces also for other techniques and tools that we can use. So we also projected and trimmed some openings from the generic mass, and then we started with the basic object, and then we separated the various parts, so the walls, the pavement, and the facade here, like a curtain wall. And also we had a little problem here. So if I zoom here, you can see that we have kind of an extra little thing, which is not really great. But in any moment, we can reconstruct a surface, and we can use more advanced tools in Nurbs modeling. And we're gonna see some of them there right here, surface creation. Now, if you want this panel, you can go and from the standard, you can choose this one here. This is for the surfaces. And there are some simple way to create surfaces and more advanced. And also you can check the Rhino video course, because there are a lot of examples explaining all different ways you can create surfaces. So if I want to rebuild these, well, you have the rebuild surface tools in here, but also we have other options. We can extract the curves or just use the edges and create something else. So with the curve from edge object, we can duplicate an edge. So I can do, for example, one rail sweep with this, or two rail sweep. I can do a loft. I can do a lot of things. So let me extract these curves from here just to show you different ways we can do things if they don't come out exactly how we want. So let's go here through the surface creation. So this cannot be a surface from 3 or 4 corner points, because it's going to be flat, and this is not flat, it's this curved. It cannot be a surface from planar curves, because these curves are not on the same plane. But we can use the loft. The loft, you just need to select more profiles. It can be closed curves or open like this. So if I select the first one and the second one here, press enter, there you go. I have another type of subdivision of the panels. But I can also change and make these more like even. So if I rebuild the surface using different control points, I get different results. And I can put, as many as I want. I can convert these then into panels and framing, just like we did before in a previous lesson, where we started with a surface, we divided it, and then we created the framing and the panels. Same logic applies here. So I'm not going to go through that again, just to show you the results here. Or I can use the refine within, and etc, etc. So for each tools, you have a bunch of parameters that you can change a little bit. If you want something more precise, you want to go with the tight. Otherwise, if you want to have it less precise, loose. Depending if you want to do like a rendering, you can be less precise than when you're creating a prototype or something that needs to be printed. But also we can use the surface from 2, 3, or 4 edge curves, because we do have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So press enter, and there you go. So that's another way you can do this. And it has a different separation of the isocurves, but you can manage also the isocurves, as we know. And then we have other ways. Now, I think the more accurate of these are the rail sweeps, which you can find here. Or also, of course, if you are in the surface tools, you'll find these tools here on the left. So we can do a one rail, we can do two rails. One rail means that we have one path, and then it's going to ask you for shapes or profiles, like the loft. But this is more guided than the loft, because I will say, okay, this is one line, this is the other, and press enter, and that's going to run through that path. And again, we can change here some settings, and we can rebuild, etc., etc. Two rails, it's even more precise because here I can say, okay, well, I can also use these verticals as railings, as rails. So I can select these two, and then these are the two profiles for like the loft for the surface. And this is probably the most accurate because we have two paths, two profiles, and again, we can rebuild, we can refit, we can choose the edge continuity to be in the position, meaning that this is going to be pretty tight. So position means that it's going to be pretty accurate, etc., etc. So we have a lot of ways we can construct or reconstruct something that we don't really like. So to fix things and adjust and make it better. Now, this for the new lesson, I want to play a little bit more also with the sub-D because sub-D can give us organic shapes and architecture. And I've created here a couple of examples that we can redo together. So I left an empty platform here and we're going to work on this. So I want to show you also the Revolve, which is comes in two ways, Revolve and Ray Revolve. Again, if you want, you can check the Rhino video course for more examples on these tools. Now, all of these can be used for architecture, but it can be used to create anything essentially. So the Revolve can be used to create a glass or something that basically revolves in a circle around a profile. So if I go for the standard Revolve, well, I need a profile. So I'm going to create a curve. So I'm just going to create a interpolation spline. So if you leave a gap between, let's say that this is the midpoint of this platform is going to be, let's project here. So this is going to be the axis of this revolution. So if I do something like this and I don't come back on this axis, I stop before, it's going to leave a gap in there. So let's assume this is the profile and let's run the revolve. So revolve, and the axis is going to be from here straight up to here. Okay, so now it's asking you to define the start and the end angle. So we can start from here and we can end there, so creating a complete rounded shape, or we can stop before and make it like 180 degree like this. So you can see that it created this shape, and which is pretty organic, and in there we have a hole. So if you want to get rid of the hole, you need to put this point exactly in the axis. And again, if you want to move that, we can try to align it to the object. In this case, it's better to the world. So now we can push it right there. Now, another really important tool I want to show you, which gives you the possibility to repeat the operation without deleting and restarting. So, and also want to show you the rail revolve. So in this case, we also need a rail. Now the rail can be open, can be closed, depending on what you have in mind. And you don't need to be extremely precise. So you can just go, around this area. But if you want to be even more precise, you can just put this near the point here, near the curve. But again, it is not necessary right now. We're just, again, creating massing geometry. So let's go for the right click for the rail revolve. So we need a profile curve, which is going to be the same one of before, and then a rail curve, which is going to be this other one. And now the revolution or revolve axis, which is going to be something here in between. And there you go. So we have a pretty complex shape. Many stadium are made like this, but again, this could be an object. This could be, some furniture, wherever, or maybe like a sofa. Now, if we record history down here, this is the feature that will let you record, so you don't always need to go back if you want to modify it. So if I do again the